Remote work has become a popular practice during the COVID-19 pandemic, allowing employees to do their jobs from a location other than a central office operated by the employer. This could include an employee's home, a co-working or other shared space, a private office, or any other place outside of the traditional corporate office building. In Nigeria, there has been a growing trend of Nigerians taking up roles in foreign companies outside Nigeria that offer significantly higher pay than their Nigerian counterparts. This is due to the dwindling value of the naira, which makes it more attractive to earn in foreign currency. Jurisdiction is the power, right, or authority to interpret and apply tax laws or decisions. Taxing jurisdiction means the government that collects tax on any income or gain attributable to the company. There are two theories of tax jurisdiction: source jurisdiction and residence jurisdiction. Under a source jurisdiction, income may be taxed because of a nexus between the country and the activities that generate the income, with no reference to the residence of the taxpayer. Under a residence jurisdiction, income may be taxed because of a nexus between the country and the person earning the income, irrespective of the place where the income is earned. Most countries or jurisdictions adopt both the residence and source concepts in their tax systems. Determination of residence for tax purposes is vital for identifying the relevant tax authority of a taxpayer. The Personal Income Tax (PIT) Act under Nigerian law states that the collection of a tax imposed on an individual's income will be determined by looking at the territory of residence where the individual concerned is deemed to be resident. An individual is regarded as resident in Nigeria if they are domiciled in Nigeria, sojourn in Nigeria for a period or periods amounting to 183 days or more in a 12-month period, or serve as a diplomat or diplomatic agent of Nigeria in a country other than Nigeria. A non-resident individual is a person who is not domiciled in Nigeria or who stays in Nigeria for less than 183 days in a 12-month period but derives income or profit from Nigeria. Residence should not be confused with nationality, and the Nigerian tax laws attach importance to residence and not nationality. Therefore, whether an individual is a citizen of Nigeria or a citizen of another country, the same standards apply to them as far as they are resident in Nigeria. In the United Bank for Africa plc versus Adamayo, 2005, the Court of Appeal said that residence is about personal presence at some place of abode with the purpose to remain for some undetermined period. One can be said to reside in a place without necessarily staying permanently there. Residence conveys the fact of abode and the intention of remaining. It means more than the physical presence. Taxation of remote employees in Nigeria can be quite complex and is based on two factors: residence and source. The Personal Income Tax Act, PITA, in Nigeria outlines the rules for determining tax liability for both residents and non-residents. According to Personal Income Tax Act, PITA, any income derived from a source inside or outside Nigeria is chargeable to tax. This includes any gain or profit from trade, business, profession, or vocation, as well as any salary, wage, fee, allowance, or gain or profit from employment. Section 6A of Personal Income Tax Act, PITA, specifically addresses non-resident individuals who provide technical, management, consultancy, or professional services to a resident person in Nigeria. In such cases, the gains or profits of the trade or business are deemed to be derived from and taxable in Nigeria to the extent that the individual has significant economic presence in Nigeria. The tax withheld from payments made to the non-resident is the final tax on the transaction. Section 10(1)(a) of Personal Income Tax Act, PITA, addresses gain or profit from any employment, the duties of which are wholly or partly performed in Nigeria. Such income is deemed to be derived from Nigeria unless specific conditions are met. These conditions include performing duties for a non-resident individual, not being in Nigeria for more than 183 days in a 12-month period, and the remuneration being liable to tax in the source country under its double taxation agreement with Nigeria. Section 10(3) of Personal Income Tax Act, PITA, states that the gain or profit from any employment exercised in Nigeria is deemed to be derived from Nigeria, regardless of where the gains or profits are received. Companies employing remote workers across borders must be careful not to trigger permanent establishment. The temporary presence of an employee at a home office in a different jurisdiction is typically not a cause for permanent establishment risk for the employer. However, when the offshore working model becomes more permanent, there is a risk of triggering permanent establishment in the remote work location. The OECD has issued guidance on this topic, stating that if an employee continues to work from home long-term, their home office may be considered to have a certain degree of permanence. The facts and circumstances of each work arrangement need to be analyzed to determine if the home office is used on a continuous basis and if it is at the disposal of the employer. In cases where employees will continue to work from their home jurisdiction after COVID-19, the OECD states that it would be more likely for the individual to be considered to meet the habitual criteria. The report further makes reference to the commentaries, where the OECD recommends that the facts and circumstances of each case should be considered, including the involvement of the individual in contracting activities and the specifics of the contracts concluded. In conclusion, the taxation of remote employees in Nigeria can be complex, and companies must be careful to ensure compliance with Personal Income Tax Act, PITA, and avoid triggering permanent establishment. It is essential to analyze the facts and circumstances of each work arrangement to determine the appropriate tax treatment. The OECD guidance provides a helpful framework for analyzing remote work arrangements and determining the level of permanent establishment risk. It is crucial for individuals to seek professional guidance from tax experts to receive personalized advice relevant to their unique circumstances. This statement serves as a disclaimer to remind the audience that the information presented should not be taken as official advice. Instead, it is a general overview of a topic from the perspective of Olatunji Abdulrazak, and it is up to the audience to interpret and use the information accordingly. Thank you.